A standoff is brewing between the national government and the Senate over allocation of funds to county governments following a proposal to withhold over 15.7 billion shillings set to be allocated to the Nairobi City County government. Now, the dispute follows a transfer of key functions from the county to the national government under the Nairobi Metropolitan Service, with the Senate arguing that the funds still need to be appropriated and budgeted for by the County Assembly, whose role is to oversight and account for the funds.
As the Senate reconvened on Tuesday afternoon, one of the matters before it was the second reading of the Division of Revenue Bill 2020, which shares revenue between the national and county governments. This year's proposals will see the national government receive 1.5 trillion shillings, while counties will share out 316.5 billion shillings. Unlike previous years where the Senate and Council of Governors opposed the allocation, there was consensus that given the current economic predicament, the funds should sail through without objection.
But considering the circumstances, and which has been compounded by the pandemic of COVID-19, Mr. Speaker, we do not have the opportunity and the luxury to engage in other protracted, Mr. Speaker, debate with the national government and the National Assembly.
Alongside the funds was an additional 6.2 billion shillings towards the controversial medical equipment leasing program, 4.3 billion shillings for level 5 hospitals, 6.78 billion shillings for the equalization fund, 2 billion shillings for rehabilitation of youth polytechnics, 9.4 billion shillings from the fuel levy fund, and 30 billion shillings for conditional grants. All was not smooth sailing, however, as an additional provision to withhold 15.7 billion shillings meant for the Nairobi City County within the consolidated fund rubbed senators the wrong way.
Mr. Speaker, most of the stakeholders who submitted memoranda on the bill took great exception to the provisions of these two subclauses in the bill. The provisions, while termed as unconstitutional, also go against the spirit of devolution.
What is being proposed in this bill is really to kill devolution as we know it. And it will begin with Nairobi, because Nairobi is the county where most of the devolved funds go to in terms of the counties. If it can happen to Nairobi, it will happen to any county.
And for what we do in this House is to hold counties accountability, to hold them accountable when money is allocated to the counties.
Mr. Speaker, it is completely unconstitutional to try and appropriate for any county. So, Mr. Speaker, I just want to assume, in good faith, that it was an oversight. At worst, at best, that it was an oversight, Mr. Speaker. But we must play a role and we must amend that. Mr. Speaker, Nairobi County should get its full complement.
4 functions were transferred from the Nairobi City County to the Nairobi Metropolitan Service in March this year, with the county retaining 10 functions. The Senate moved to amend the bill to reallocate Nairobi's share back to the county government. The bill will now move back to the National Assembly's Budget and Appropriations Committee for consideration of the amendments, which the House can choose to accept or reject. Henry Githaiga, KTN News.